This is Forge Daily with Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Forge fans, welcome back to another week of Forge Daily. Today is July 17th, 2023. I'm your host, Mackenzie Barwell, here to give you all things Forge FC. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. If you were here on Saturday, you know that my co-host Alessandro absolutely killed it, so I don't know how much longer I'll have this job for. No, I'm kidding. Well, I don't know. In today's episode, we are going to hear from Coach Bobby and Garven Metusala at Saturday's post-match press conference, and then take a look at some changes to the CPL standings and Forge player stats following Saturday's result. So, let's get right into it. A controversial 1-1 draw with Valor this past weekend. After a goalless first half between both clubs, Forge FC came out in the second half looking to score early, and it seemed like they would when Taryn Campbell put one away into an empty net after Becker struck the ball off the post, only for the referee to call the goal back on an offside call. Coach Bobby talked a little bit about the refereeing around the league, not just relative to Forge and Saturday's match, but just in general this season. So let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I thought, again, we're good. Somewhere around the 60th minute, we've scored a goal. I'm not sure if anyone in this room can tell me why it's not a goal. So I see a lot of heads nodding, so we all know it's a goal. Yet there was a conference going on for a while, right? And these things, unfortunately, are happening every week. Not for Forge, but across the league, and it's not good. It just simply isn't good for the quality of what the players are doing, the work that the staff are doing each and every week to prepare for games. I think, looking at replays now, there's a penalty in injury time. I've been told it was the player supporting himself, but when your arms are fully extended outside of your body, you're not supporting yourself anymore. So again, we can talk about tactics, we can talk about what the teams did, we can talk all about these things, but when some factors change what's actually going on in the game, it's tough for us to discuss all the other things.
Later on in the match, Forge would open up the scoring when a ball over the top from Dav Schwanier found Taryn Campbell in the box, who made no mistake in putting away his 8th goal of the season. Taryn's starting to make this podcast sound pretty repetitive. He's now comfortably sitting alone at the top of the league for most goals scored. Like I said, 8 on the season and now 15 all-time with Forge FC. That would also be Dav Schwanier's second assist, ranking him 3rd in all-time assists with Forge FC. He's got 13 total. I should also mention a few other key components were missing from Forge this match, but we can expect to see them later on this week against Pacific. Malik Alwalabi Belawu and Mandrakar James served a 1-game suspension for yellow cards. Coach Bobby also touched on how Dom Samuel is doing after taking a few knocks and then having to leave the match early, as well as Jordan Hamilton, who was injured the match prior. Garv then chimes in a little later, speaking to how Forge's game is influenced with Jordan Hamilton's absence.
Yeah, he's good. He took a knock to the head, so it was more for a concussion protocol. Then he came off, took a knock, thought he said he was okay, and then obviously that wasn't the case, so we immediately took him off the field. He'll be assessed, and he'll go through all the protocols that are needed to get him healthy and ready back on the pitch. And Jordan Hamilton is day-to-day.
Yeah, of course, he's a big loss. He's a guy that's good in the air. Also, when he plays wide, he's also a good threat in the box because he's more of a striker. So we felt that we maybe missed that a bit today, but I felt like we still created a lot of chances and we could have scored more. We should have capitalized even more on our chances. So we have a good depth in the team. So when players get injured, others can take their place and keep the high level. So
Forge seemed to be in a comfortable position to take home the 3 points on Saturday until former Forge defender Clyde Chella would put his head on a corner kick to tie the match in the 85th minute. So Forge FC having to settle for the 1-1 draw despite having 65% of possession and an expected goals rating of 1.1 compared to Valor's 0.5. But Bobby spoke a little bit more about the potential infrastructure that should be in place because of the growing frustrations with the refereeing, especially when it comes down to taking away a result in a situation like this one.
I think it takes a while to put the infrastructure into place. It's not a cheap system. You can't just go and implement anything. And I've had this discussion too. You can minimize 80% of what's going wrong with just checking the replay. broadcast replay, but that's not permitted by FIFA. And how it's done. So everything must be done through a certain amount of cameras, certain ways that the ref is making decisions. So it's not easy. And I think that makes it difficult on the officials in this league too, right? Because I think even if we just used for some basic things, broadcast replays. We all have cameras. Forget about the cameras we have in the stadium. 80% of the simple things you can get rid of, and then there's no issue, and you move on. And at least it's some days it's going to work for you, and some days it's going to work against you. But yeah, that's where world football is right now. So it'd be good if we find a solution, because like I said, it's not a Forge thing. We're seeing it each and every week, more and more this year, and I'm not sure why that is happening.
Forge FC now sit third in the Canadian Premier League with 23 points total. They've got a record of 6 wins, 5 losses, and now 5 draws in the 2023 season. Cavalry has been bumped up to second place after 3 wins in a row. They've got a total of 24 points, so not far ahead. But Pacific still at the top of the table with 26. And we now look ahead to Friday's matchup against them. Forge will head to Victoria, BC to play at the Starlight Stadium. All right, that is all I have for today's episode. Tomorrow we will catch up with some of the players and talk about Forge's current form. Dom was looking all right this morning as he was back out at training. So we'll get the inside scoop there and then the rest of the team's status as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you then.
This has been Forge Daily with Mackenzie Barwell. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.
I also felt like I should include this because Bobby put me on the spot at the press conference. I was sitting there, taking it all in, listening. He answered a ton of questions, okay? Everything he needed to say had been said, so I decided, all right, I'm going to sit this one out. I'll let him leave. No, here's what he said.
Mackenzie, nothing. All right. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
He did not have to put me on the spot.